Ah, the Hex House. Come for the psychic readings, and stay forever. Welcome back, everybody. For those new here, welcome. For those who've been around, welcome back. It's me. This is part of our series on cursed places, specifically the scariest haunted houses in America. If you're new here, and you want to start at the beginning, check out our other videos to get a feel of the haunted mic. If you've already seen the previous videos, you're ready. And let's jump right into it. In 1940s Tulsa, the unassuming blue bungalow known as the Hex House became infamous for an unbelievable case of psychological imprisonment. Two women, mentally dominated and held as virtual slaves, lived in constant terror, subjected to bizarre rituals and threats of supernatural punishment by a woman who claimed to wield dark powers she called hexes. This story isn't about bloody violence or demonic hauntings. It's a chilling account of control, fear, and the invisible chains a mind can forge. The first clue was the scratching of metal, late at night, too deliberate to be the wind, too persistent for rats. I'd only lived in Tulsa a few months, but everyone talked about the Hex House as the place you shouldn't walk past after sunset. The blue paint peeled in strips, its stoop sagged deeper every week, yet someone always kept the curtains drawn tight. Some folks said Mrs. Garrett, the owner, could fix your luck, if you paid the right price. At first, I didn't think much of all the whispers until I noticed Virginia and Willetta. They were strange even before I knew their names. Often hunched together, moving in step, they passed my shop window like clockwork, never speaking to anyone, never looking up. The older one, Virginia, seemed skinnier with each passing week. Her eyes held a hunted look. They bought just enough food and walked back towards the Hex House every day. The same silent routine. One evening, just before the Oklahoma heat broke, Virginia lingered near the store. She counted her coins twice, hands shaking, then asked in a voice barely above a breath, "If she finds out I spoke, do you think the hex would work?" It wasn't a joke. I felt cold just hearing her say the word. Willetta grabbed Virginia's arm, whispering so quietly I only caught fragments, something about the rules. There was a dark undertone to everything at the Hex House. Neighbors muttered about odd late-night visitors, strange chanting in the cellar, and lights flickering like dying stars long past midnight. Nails stacked up, weeds grew wildly. Every morning, the women appeared, drawn and pale. Mrs. Garrett herself rarely left, but her presence was felt everywhere, like a shadow stretching out from behind windows, bristling with iron bars. One night, as a thunderstorm tore across Tulsa, I heard a scream sharp enough to make my skin prickle. Instinct overrode fear. I grabbed my coat and ran towards the Hex House, boots splashing through muddy puddles. The air inside was thick, moldy, stale, suffocating. I moved quietly down the narrow hall, drawn to a faint, rapid breathing behind the basement door. As I pressed my ear closer, I recognized three voices, one crooning, almost hypnotic, the others ragged with panic. Mrs. Garrett chanted, words slurred and rhythmic, bound and beholden, sealed in fate. Virginia sobbed. She said if we tried to leave, she'll kill our mothers. She said if we talk, we'll rot from the inside. Willetta recited prayers, her voice hoarse, as the lock scraped. I knocked softly, then harder, desperate. Instantly, everything went silent. Suddenly, Mrs. Garrett was at the door, a thin shadow within, eyes shining with wild intensity. Through the wood, she hissed, "Do not interfere. The hex is real. This is my house, and these are my rules." I could feel her breath on my knuckles, and it was ice. After that, I tried to get help. I spoke with neighbors, wrote anonymous tips, even called the police. They came once, slow and skeptical, and left just as quickly. Mrs. Garrett smiled, offered them tea, and showed them rooms tidy enough to pass inspection. Virginia and Willetta never looked up, their hands trembling in their laps, eyes blank, as if any outside attention risked punishment they couldn't name. Weeks stretched into months. The Hex House seemed to infect the whole block with unease. Even passing by felt blind. Some nights, I swore I saw movement behind the glass-distorted faces, hands clawing at curtains, shadows slinking past flickering candles. Every morning, the house was quiet again. Mrs. Garrett disappeared one day, just as the summer heat grew unbearable. City workers swept in to clear out the property. Virginia and Willetta emerged, blinking and frail, their hair shorn close, clothes mismatched and dirty. Investigators found a grim shrine in the cellar, scraps of newspaper turned into crude charms, burnt candles scattered on dusty tables, ledger books filled with threats and debts. But no clear evidence of violence, just rooms that felt cold and wrong. Virginia never recovered. I saw her once at the market, flinching at every loud noise, never meeting anyone's gaze. Willetta kept to herself, moving like a shadow through town, forever wary of corners. Whatever hexes Mrs. Garrett cast, they lingered in the minds of her victims, and in my nightmares. Even now, long after the Hex House was torn down, I sometimes wake in the dark. Sure, I hear the metal scraping and whispered chants drifting on the wind, echoing the horror of a house where fear itself became the prison walls. Are you scared yet? Because I am. So what do you think? Are there any other haunted houses you'd like for us to cover? Let us know down below, and we may use it for a future episode. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, happy haunting.